just gotta... All right, guys, we're back at it again and getting going here as we start up our live stream. We have to do an all-new live stream here because Facebook will time out at 8 minutes and YouTube will time out at 12 hours, not 8 minutes, 8 hours and 12 hours. So we had to get a new stream going.
Alrighty. We are back right now with the first sorts of those seeds, and we're going to our first heat now. And as we go into these heats, we will be looking at IFMAR racing times, and we're starting again here with short course truck. Just to let you all know, for those Dakota Fen fans out there that was really bummed that he was going to be having some difficulty defending his title, there will be 3 heats, and there will be a resort after heat number 2. So it is all not it is not all lost. So it is going to be difficult in the first 2 heats for Dakota. In that particular heat, I think it was 4-wheel drive Buggy for him to get a good reseed, essentially, for round number 3. But from there, he can recover. So
sometimes I'll disagree with you a little bit on that one. So most of the time in racing, sometimes when you're that faster guy and you're in a lower heat, they know who you are. Traffic will actually move out of the way for you, rather than if he's in a higher heat with guys that are more your speed.
Right.
They won't move out of the way as easily. So I say, and I'll almost bet you $1 that we possibly see a couple TQ rounds out of Dakota.
Okay, let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. I mean, I do see what you're saying in terms of those pros moving out of his way, in terms of them knowing that he is essentially one of the fastest seeds.
It just is paced on time.
But you're still going to have to navigate the traffic.
True.
So
I know. I'm saying
there's always time lost.
We will see, sir.
We'll see. That is an interesting observation.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you guys for joining in. Hopefully we had like over about 500 people kind of watching just seating, and looks like we got looks like 83 back right now, and people will be filtering back in. So it'll be good. So we're back into this. I'm going to try and get that whole photo thing up and going, and I'll transfer it over to Shane. Thank you so much,
right.
Shane. I need to get something to eat, too. Did you get any pizza?
I did, thank you.
Perfect.
Yes, I did.
All right, I'm going to go get some pizza.
As we move here into qualifier 1 of 3, qualifying heat number 1 of 3, and this is heat number 1 of 40. ProTech short course Buggy, a higher level of performance. We're following the leaders right now as they're going up there. I think that is Owen Simmons in the orange and yellow with the white wheels. I do speak under correction. We will see very shortly as he comes across the line with 2 minutes to go here in this 5-minute heat. Actually, that is Larry Nelson and Edmonds. Here comes Hines now to the point. Hines is there in the pink and purple with a white front, just taking a little bit of a tumble, and behind him is Adam Smith. All right, all whites with some decals, yellow decals on the side is Matt Hines. Lap times here from the short course trucks a little bit slower, of course, a lot larger of a car than what we see with the stadium trucks, and the same turn motor, so 13.5 turn motor in these. 13.5 short course truck brought to you by ProTech RC, a higher level of performance. Available at your local hobby shop and at www.amainhobbies.com for all your RC needs. We had a quick drivers meet, some photographs, as well as the concourse competition. The concourse competition was where 3 judges, myself being one of them, chose the best looking bodies. And myself, Jason Rona, and the gentleman from Horizon chose those, and we chose 3 and allowed the crowd then through round of applause essentially to see which one they like best, and they then chose one of our local races as the winner. We should have photographs up on Mod Live Media's website pretty soon on that. If we don't get that up today, it will be early tomorrow or maybe even tonight. So do look out on the feed for that. No, Garrett RC Racing, the stop talking gentleman did in fact stop talking. We didn't ban him, we didn't say anything, he just in fact stopped talking. So, yeah. He was pointing out the obvious. Jonathan Bent, welcome back. Robert Moore, B7 tuning. I want a 4-wheel. Okay. Oh man. All right, 15 seconds before we get started for heat number 2, ProTech 13.5 short course. Sponsored and brought to you by ProTech RC, a higher level of performance. Available at your local hobby shop or at amainhobbies.com for all your RC needs. Just looking for everybody to get checked in now. This is still some warm-up before the clock goes live. Adam Rails in one of 6 heats, I believe that he is in this race. Some other local heroes, Justin Whitaker, Tom Sherman, James Knight, Chris Finnair has been doing very well in some of his races as well. He should be one to watch. And they're off. Qualifier number 2 here, heat number 2 of 2 for 13.5 short course truck. Brought to you by ProTech RC, a higher level of performance. Right, let's close some of these windows I have open here. Alrighty. Let's have a look back at the chat. Alrighty, so they're busy getting ready to get heat number 3 up there. Let's have a look right now. We're going to see where is the leader, Justin Sherman. It looks like he is putting down some good pace. Remember, guys, we've changed over now from seeding to the qualifying heats, and as we do that, now it will be your overall consistency and lap pace that matters. So it is who can do the most number of laps in their full 5-minute period. And also remember that if you are still on a lap when the clock expires, you will always finish that lap. So that is how people are doing longer than 5-minute times. For example, here, we're going to look at Justin Sherman's time when it pops up in just a second over here. So he goes through for his 4th lap. Justin Sherman, I believe, is that buggy there with the white and the green rear, the short course truck with the white and the green rear. 13.5 best lap, and right behind him, Justin Whitaker in the white car, also running a 13.5 lap. There is the lap pace, 13.509. So it's going to take him 5 minutes and 9 seconds to do 13 laps, which is faster than the gentleman behind him, who will also do 13 laps, and he will do that in 5 minutes and 16 seconds. You got it. So as we continue to watch there right now, it's not going to matter as much if you get the fastest lap. It's going to matter how consistent you can be through the entire run. So you won't see anyone backing up like we did earlier in the seeding rounds, where somebody would bobble on a lap and they would try to make space for themselves. This will be full charge all of the time. But I will say you are doing yourself a favor when you get started in FMAR qualifying in order to try to find yourself some space on the track. And when you do that, that will obviously give you a higher consistency, not battling traffic or defending your position. Driver etiquette really says that if a faster driver comes up on you, you should just give way, and that is going to serve both of you just the same as what it would in the seeding rounds. But with that being said, it is going to be much less important here if you lose a couple of tenths just giving up his place to somebody, rather than giving up full seconds every lap trying to defend a position from somebody. Right now it looks like we've got Sherman and Whittaker. Whittaker is that car right behind, which is the blue and yellow. So that is actually a battle for the position. But right now, in order to take the lead, Whittaker is going to have to do more than just pass Sherman here. He needs to pass Sherman and make 4 seconds. So when you see those times there, Sherman is on a 13 lap pace with a 13.512, and Whittaker behind is on a 13.516. So he's doing a 13 laps in 5 minutes and 16. So he needs to get that time down in order to be able to pass Sherman, who's currently making his way pretty well through the traffic. Whittaker now cleanly also through, but now a couple of seconds behind. He lost out in the traffic there as he last went over the JConcepts roller. Another car here just bumped a little bit there. The short course trucks, of course, a little bit more able to take a little bit of rubbing. Rubbing is racing, as they say, but not so with buggies and with stadium trucks. They certainly struggle a little bit with open wheel action. The short course truck here of Adam Rails now is actually separating them on the timing and scoring sheet, but we're going to continue to follow this battle as we go with Sherman in the front, and that is going to be Whittaker in the rear. Rails is just behind them, and he has closed the gap and does not need to pass Whittaker in order to take that position, just simply because this is an overall lap pace. He's stolen that second spot from Whittaker, who was battling with traffic a couple of laps ago. They're all still running. They haven't had their full 5 minutes on the clock just yet. So Sherman now with a 13.511, 13.514 from Rails. And it looks like Sherman is going to get away in the end. A little bit of a bobble from Whittaker. Something's happened to him. And that is going to put Rails not only through in the position, but firmly into the second spot there. Whittaker gets it back in the end. I guess that was Rails that rolled over. Excuse me for misspeaking. So it was Justin Sherman from Justin Whittaker over Adam Rails and Chris Finnair with Tom Sherman, Zach James, and the rest rounding out the ProTech 13.5 short course truck. ProTech, a higher level of performance. We move on to qualifier number 3, 40 plus 2-wheel drive mod buggies. So as you can see, a little bit shuffled around. I believe that was not quite our third race in the last go around. Maybe they made some changes in order to avoid some race scheduling conflicts. You can't have people go back to back to back in races unless if you have additional or volunteer marshals to cover those spots, because after you race, you must marshal. So the people that have just raced are the marshals out on this track, and as they continue through the race, will continue to do so. It's always difficult to get the very first race going because it's always the very last race that marshals that one, and normally it is difficult to find those people. But in this particular case, the race director, Lance McDonald, has plenty of experience, and he knew well to set up the pros as the last race, which means that they are always paying attention to the program and always paying attention to what is happening, and they come out very quickly and they keep your program going, being that you need your marshals. Let's see if Eddie Henley does make this one. He is the owner of Hoosier RC HobbyPlex. He has not got a check on his transponder just yet. So we are going to go live here in just a couple of seconds. I don't think I see him up on the stand, unfortunately, as we go live. There's Dan Neer, just judging by the last name. I'm going to assume it's either father or brother to Jasmine that we saw earlier. Let's have a look at what's happening in our chat over here. Thank you, Joey Fisher. I appreciate that. Yes. Is that Mr. Joseph Fisher? Is that Joey Fisher that I talk to on Facebook sometimes and have done so at A-Main Hobbies before? Please comment in the chat. The smoking rat, no problem, just trying to help. Yes, that is very good. We appreciate that. And yes, the RC Chili Bowl is coming up. I believe it's next weekend. Hello from Michigan to Joshua Hubert. All right, so let's have a look here as we go to the 40 plus mod 2-wheel drive buggy, heat number 1 of 4, and this is qualifying heat number 3 of 40. That's Justin Grimes right now coming out on top with the 2 quickest laps as he does a 25 flat. The others doing 25.3 and 26 and upwards from there. Getting a little bit loose and offline there. He is the yellow wheeled buggy with the green and other colors as we are watching here. He goes over the JConcepts bump. We change over to Mike Winders. Mike Winders there. The yellow buggy with the red rear and the yellow wheels. The track conditions certainly looking a little bit less consistent than what we saw a little bit earlier on in the day. I believe they did put down a little bit of water, so especially offline is going to be a little bit sticky. We also had a track photograph of all of the race entrants as we took a break in between and did the concourse as well. So there was a fair amount of foot traffic on the track, which may have changed some of the traction, and also will have had some water on the track, which certainly will make the offline parts substantially slicker than what they were previously. Still following Mike Winders around here with Dan Neer in the 2 right now. Jason Grimes has dropped down to the 3. Brian Krull in the 4. Troy Schroeder is in the 5. Al Collin is in the 6. Brad Evans in the 7. Eddie Henley, it says, is running, but he's not, I don't believe, and I don't think Rustin made the race either. So only 6 cars on the track right now. Dan Neer now to the point. I believe that is Dan Neer in the white buggy with the yellow wheels. Thank you, Chris. Chris is our cameraman. If you hear me thanking Chris, it's for picking up the buggy that we are trying to follow, being the leader. Over the JConcepts kicker, over the SXT double, into the DRC roller, ProTech upside, Phantom downside on that tabletop. I can't tell the logo on that one. That is the Team Associated double over the Hobby Wing double, triple, excuse me, over the Team Associated double. We did take a short little break. It was a very short interval in between, just so that we could get some food and get a couple of drinks. Maybe not enough, though, for my brain. My brain maybe needs a little bit of a rest, but it's going to be a long, long day ahead of us. 37 seconds left on the clock here. we will go ahead and run 1 heat today, and then 2 and 3 will be done tomorrow, and then mains will be on Sunday. So they've moved the schedule around just a little bit, and that is how we will do it. There will be 1 qualifying heat today, so essentially seeding and 1 qualifying heat. Tomorrow will be a 2nd qualifying heat and a 3rd. There will be a resort after the 2nd qualifier, and then there will be mains all of Sunday. The clock has expired as we follow Dan near over, but his clock has not expired, so he continues to run. His last lap being his fastest one, 23.8. It looks like he is putting a little bit of a stretch on his lead right now, and we'll have to see what the rest can do. I believe that normally, when it comes to the the sorting of the heats, they normally put the slower drivers in the later heat. So where you see heat number 1 of 4, that is normally the slowest of the drivers, and heat number 2 is faster, heat number 3 is even faster, and heat number 4 would be the fastest. We need some volunteers for turn marshals. I would normally go and volunteer myself, but of course I'm up here with you guys, so not able to help today. Frank van der Berg or Frank van der Berg, depending on where you are from. I guess you had some audio issues. It may actually be the way that I have the microphone positioned. Every now and then I move it because I'm going to cough, and sometimes I put it too far away from my face. I do apologize for that. It's probably not your headset. We are doing a waffle, so let me find here. I'll find one of the comments. Dun, dun, dun. I will have to wait for Matt to come back in a minute, and he will share the waffle in a couple of minutes. Here he comes back now. We'll be giving away several kits in the waffle. We're giving away a B74.2 kit, a YZ2 DTM3 kit, and a B7, as well as the Nano Sport kit that we have here. So if you're looking to get your hands on one of those B7s, now is your time. Oh yeah, loads more prizes. Those are just the big grand prizes. So if you would like to be one of the 10 to 15 winners, there should be about 10 to 15 prizes. If you'd like to be one of those winners, go and enter the waffle. I think Matt just shared it in the stream. Yes, he did. I'll see if I can highlight it here. It's not allowing me to highlight that or pin that. There it is. Okay, let me see if I can pin that comment. No, because I'm not Mod Live Media. I am on here as my own personal profile. So we'll try to pin that later, but we'll continue to share it as we go through here. The 40 Plus two-wheel drive mod buggy, sponsored by TLR. TLR in good attendance at this race, as is Team Associated. going to be a battle there. A lot of X-ray drivers as well as some Schumacher drivers. So a very good representation between many chassis. Chris Venair here in this particular race, I believe, is the one that we are following around now. Chris in that white buggy with the yellow wheels. He's in a number of classes, as is a couple of other drivers. I believe a record may have been broken at this event. We have to double check the numbers, but I believe in terms of number of actual drivers, I believe this is the largest 10 scale number of drivers, whereas last year's race for Clash of Champions had the number of entries as the highest number of entries ever. So 20 bucks a ticket for that waffle gets you into the drawing, which we will do on Sunday. That will be a live draw that we will do on Sunday. And we will have 10 to 15 winners. There will be at least 5 grand prizes, all being kits. So Chris Venair out front right now with a 13.520 lap pace. 3 seconds back from him is Jason Vanessa. They're separated by not much on the track themselves. We're going to continue to follow our leader here in that white buggy with the yellow wheels as he goes across the stripe. One of the other drivers makes room for him to get by. This one, heat 2 of 4. We lost our EQP, our little sorting sheet there. We lost that EQP. We'll get that back later. That's going to pop up. Matt is on the other headset. I'm wearing 2 headsets. He's just heard me say that. He's come up. He's going to put it up, I guess, for us. There we go. So the reason why I wanted to show that to you is because as we go through these heats, you'll notice that heat number 1 will often have the fastest 5 drivers. Heat number 2 will then often have the fastest 5 drivers, and 3 and 4 and so on. Because normally what happens is they sort the fastest drivers in the later heat. So with that being said, we should see all 5 refresh. Right now, Dan Neer from heat number 1 has done well to get himself a very good time, and he is hanging on to the 3 spot right now. No one able to usurp him yet. Well, 2 have been able to usurp him from the top spot, but no one able to usurp him down to below the 5th spot yet of these 10 drivers on track. So a very good run from Dan Neer for his first one. Chris Venair still following him there. Owen Simmons now pops up into the 2 spot and usurps Jason Vanessa. Usurp, yes. No, it is not a word that you hear very often. Let's have a look at our chat. Let's see how you guys are doing today. Please mash that like button, and if you don't like the stream, please hit the dislike button twice. No, it just makes their dislike go away. They hit dislike and then they hit dislike again, it goes away. Make sure if you don't like it, you dislike the feed twice. Just having a little bit of fun with you guys as we round out this qualifier number 4, heat number 4, heat 2 of 4 for the two-wheel drive mod buggy 40 plus, sponsored by Team Losi Racing. Let's take a minute to thank our sponsors: Team Associated, Protec, SXT, DRC, TDK, Exalt, TLR, Phantom, Hobbywing, Motif, One Up Racing, DBR, R1 Works, Vision Racing, Factory Tracks Racing, K&K, Mod Live Media, Boom Graphics, and Proline. If anyone is watching in the pits, I'm looking for Mike Winders. Mike Winders, please come up to the announcer's booth. Mike Winders. Yes. I've noticed he was wearing a Protec shirt in his profile picture, and I'd like to get him another one with a new logo. Him, and there is another gentleman that just came down the stand over here. There we go. This gentleman over here. Right there. Come see me after you, Marshall. Come see me, please. After you, Marshall. RIP headphone users. Alrighty. So we continue on to heat number 3 of 4. Heat number 3 of 4. Get set here for a couple of warm-up laps before the clock goes live. One to watch here will be Chris Dosek. Odus Christian will be another to watch, I believe. All checked in and all ready to go. We are going live. Three, 2, 1. We are going live. Oh my, these guys all want to race like dogs out of the gates. That is not what I would like to do in terms of IFMAR qualifying. I'd want to give myself some space. But hey, each to their own. I guess they want to make it heads-up racing. Heads-up racing refers to where all of you go from the line and you race for position from the beginning. Whereas IFMAR qualifying is one where you may want to give yourself some space in order to give yourself as much room on the track with no one in front of or behind you, thus not defending your position or trying to overtake traffic in order to try to get a good time on the board. Each of the laps is going to count towards your overall consistency and thus your lap pace, as we will refer to here. For those of you that are new, the entire 5 minutes and all of the laps that you do will all count, and your consistency will be key. As we go through the race, you'll see those times will change. Right now, a 13.502, a 13 lap pace for Chris Dosek. So he's going to take 5 minutes and 2 seconds to do 13 laps at his current pace. And that puts him in the lead as he takes a little bit of a tumble. I'm not sure if that is Dosek. It may be. Yes, it is. There's a buggy ahead that he has to avoid. Only lost a couple of tenths there, having situational awareness to look ahead of himself very well there. Due to that rollover and due to that little bobble that he just had there, he brings him down to a 13.508, with the driver behind being a 13.509. That's Matt Sunderledge. Matt Sunderledge, I believe, is right behind him on track, so only separates by a couple of seconds. If Matt can close that gap down just a little bit, we will start to see the top of the timing scoring change. As I suspected, Lance has sorted, as is classic with many RC races, with the faster races in the later heats, and that lends itself to a very exciting announcing, of course, as you can see here on the right-hand side. 4 of the 5 positions. Oh, Dosek getting sideways there. I guess he hit the brakes and got traction on the left-hand side of his car, not on the right, and that slid him off the track to the left-hand side. He lost some time there. I bet Adam Rowley and Sunderledge are going to be licking their chops at that. That's going to give them some time, and I think Rowley actually made the move by him at that time, physically as well as on the clock. We'll see now when he comes through the next timing and scoring. Not enough, but only a second separate them now, and Chris Dosek now on a 5:09 13 lap pace, with Adam Rowley on a 13 lap pace 5:10. Still fast lap going down to Chris Dosek, so he's got it in the bag as long as he can keep his consistency up and keep this going. Right now, Chris Venair from the previous heat still holding on, and no one able to usurp him yet from his lead. We will see what happens as we go into heat number 4 of 4, because we should have faster drivers even still than these. Otis making a way up the timing scoring screen there. That 23.8 is one of his faster laps, and now Sunderledge does come to the point. Sunderledge, who we've been watching, is now 0.2 of a second essentially in terms of timing and scoring ahead of Chris Dosek, who we've been following for some time. 8 laps they've done in this one, 8 laps so far. It looks like they're probably going to get in about 13 laps, as we've said, on that lap pace. As we go through the single, as we go through the double single there. Matt Sunderledge still out front right now. Dosek losing another place down to Rowley. So Rowley and Sunderledge now both having pushed past Dosek. Dosek having a rough couple of laps, and the others cleaning up with good consistent ones. I believe that is Sunderledge coming through, and we have been following for some time now. That is the white buggy with the yellow wheels and clear wing. As he navigates some traffic quite nicely. Seven seconds left on the clock here. Matt Sunderledge now is able to get ahead of Chris Venair, but none of the others so far. We will see what this last lap brings. .22.6, not only the fastest man on track, but also the most consistent with the fastest pace so far. He has a good 12 seconds that he is able now, 10 seconds over Chris Dosek, who has taken that position back from Adam Rowley. That's Chris Dosek right over there, just stepping off the stand. One that came off the stand with the power push shirt on. Matt Sunderledge from Chris Dosek and Aaron Rowley, and that is going to be a race. We're getting ready now for heat number 4 of 4. 40 plus two-wheel drive mod buggy, brought to you by TLR. Let's have a look at our chat. I have a shirt for you. Yes. What size are you?
Large, extra large either. Okay. Man, I stepped on my toes on that one. I got 2 guys named Jason. I heard him say Jason, but I heard the computer call, so I stopped. Oh, you got me one. I did? Yeah, you got me earlier. I wanted to make sure that you got it, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah. I appreciate you. I'm not going to delve down on you. Bro, so. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, bro. Hey, appreciate what you guys are doing, man. This is, we need more people to get in. We want more kids. I know. We got to get it, you know. I'm also keeping in mind, as I'm doing the broadcast, like a lot of what I watch being Formula One, we have a lot of new viewers. So I'm keeping that kind of commentary style, like explaining, like, how are we looking at the times? What matters? Like, why are the drivers getting out of the way? Why are they not give, like, why did some give up their position and others don't? Right, why would you stuff like that, right? Stuff like that. Confusing to people. I mean, when I was new, you know what? People calling 5'11", 13 at 5'11", I didn't know what that meant. What is it? When they call the FMAR times, right? When they say he's on a 13 lap pace at 5'11". Yeah. I was like, what he's doing 511, what, 500 feet per minute? Like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, what is that? Like, I didn't know, so I'm just trying to explain to the users. Yeah, heck yeah. Cool. You know, like, when I see a lot
Like your shirt.
They're always asking, what's the easiest way to get in? What we did the Thursday night or Wednesday night, that's easy.
Yes.
Get in, get your little slash or something.
I'm going to talk about that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that.
I wish somebody would have told me when I first came in. Like $200 entry, get it going, 20 of course.
Yes.
You can't actually race it.
Yes.
No brainer, race it.
Exactly, dude. And also, like, how do you build it? And it's so daunting. And, like, what electronics do you put in it?
Sure, damn, 2 kids, 2K, you know what I'm saying? That's a big. I heard you talking about the chip sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
We got a thing right here, they call it hot brown.
Hot brown?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
open-faced turkey with gravy. So when you were talking about it, I was like, yeah, we need to get a hot brown in that.
I'll mention that. Cheers, bro. Thanks. Thank you. I don't know if you could overhear some of the conversation I was having with one of the drivers. He was in our chat yesterday, and I wanted to thank him. I got him a ProTech t-shirt. Coverage brought to you here today by JConcepts from Mod Live Media. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to Shane Mouton, your commentator here today on the live feed from A-Main Hobbies. ProTech is one of A-Main's brands, so ProTech RC, a higher level of performance. That is why I have the ProTech shirts. As we have a look out there now, there are some good names out there right now as we go to the faster side of the 40 plus two-wheel drive mod buggy. We're looking at Brent Thielke. There's also Alan Horn, Adam Rails, Brian Dunbar, Greg Nicholas, Paul Ciccarello, Dan Miles, Aston Gabrowski, Mike Mallott, and Curl Wenger. All recognizable names and fast local guys themselves. And immediately, as I expected in this particular heat, all 5 of them in the first 2.5 minutes already up on the lap paces we have seen on the previous heats. This is almost like a pro lineup right here. Just so happens that being by age, they're able to enter this class, the 40 plus class. Paul Ciccarello has been a long-time recognized pro driver, as has Brent Thielke, as has Brian Dunbar. I'm not sure if Adam Rails has, but just judging by where he's hanging in this competition right now, he certainly is doing very well. Adam Rails, Alan Horn, the father of Aidan Horn, the new A-Main driver, has just joined us at A-Main Hobbies on the team, so welcome and congratulations. These are all now on a 14 lap pace for the top 3. That's a Brent Thielke, Brian Dunbar, and Adam Rails. I believe we're following Brent Thielke around as he goes up around the DRC roller. Brent Thielke in the pink, white, and purple with the white wheels. 21.9 second lap pace with Dunbar still showing that faster lap behind. Dunbar now has been showing faster lap in a number of the heats that we have seen him run, but has not been able to get the consistency as Thielke has in order to put him ahead yet. We'll see if we have Matt from Mod Media here to do an interview afterwards. We'll see. If not, we'll go straight to the next feed. I think Matt is downstairs right now taking care of the photo booth, which he's got set up so you can get real, actual printed photos and mementos of your event. So if you are here and you're interested, come and get them. All of the photographs from Mod Live Media will be available to print, and they are, I think they're $8 for one and $15 for two. They come in a little sleeve that make a nice frame also. Still Brent Thielke out front, still Brian Dunbar chasing, and still Adam Rails in the 3, and all 5 of the drivers, including Ciccarello and Nicholas, faster than the heats that we had before. The time has expired, the clock has expired, but we continue to race until they cross the line again. So that was heat number 404 in the 40 plus two-wheel drive mod buggy, sponsored by TLR. That's Alan Horn in the blue we just saw step off there, and that was ahead of Dunbar. There goes Paul Ciccarello. Paul Ciccarello is the gentleman, as you can see in the photograph there, in the number 3 with no hair. So Brent Thielke comes home with the win there and is seeding highest into the mains so far. We're getting ready right now for the team associated 21.5 independent two-wheel drive buggy, heat 1 of 3. This is race number 7 of 40. Absolutely, yes, Matthew. He said he was seeing a lot of people using a late apex in the boot to get a good line through the team associated double. And I believe that that is a good approach. And I think we're going to see a lot of passing there, because as you do that late apex, you do leave the door open in order for another driver to come inside. So I do believe that as we look at the boot, which is right where that driver is coming through now, that I think is going to be an overtaking hotspot. I see the YouTube chat is the one that's popping right now. Of course, we have YouTube, Facebook, and Mod Live Media, as well as Twitch all going. So depending on which platform you're on, you're welcome to make comments and chat to us there. Only 7 drivers in this one, it looks like. Keeping in mind here, guys, for those of you that are watching, some of you will already know this, but for those of you that are watching, if you're wondering why these cars are a little bit slower in terms of lap time as well as overall pace, you'll see there that the 29.5 is the fastest lap currently for Colin Walter. And if you look at his FMAR qualifying pace, which we're going to be seeing in just a second, as it changes to 11 laps in 5 minutes and 26 seconds, is what he's expected to do at his current pace, substantially slower than the previous runners that we saw doing 14 laps in a 5-minute something time. With that being said, the reason for that is the number that we see in the independent buggy there is 21.5. The 21.5 refers to the number of windings that the motor has around the stator. The more windings that you have, the less performance-based the motor would be. So the lower the rating, the faster the motor is, up until 5.5 turn, which seems to be the sweet spot, because as you reduce in windings, although you increase in overall performance and RPM, you do also lose torque. So many of the pros will be running a 5.5, which is a lower torque, higher RPM motor. Then since they are in the open class, they're able to use their electronic speed control settings. That is going to allow them to boost the voltage as well as the power going to the motor, thus making up for the deficit in the torque that they may have and even further increasing the RPM benefit that they have. These 21.5s are very torquey motors and not very high RPM motors, and they have very linear power. And as you see here, the separation between those two drivers as they go onto the JConcepts double is probably about 0.3 of a second. You can actually see them together in a shot, whereas with the pros, a 0.3 of a second could be almost the entire straightaway and a corner. The pros, of course, running much lower turn limit motors. They normally run anything like a 5.5, a 6.5, a 6.0, something like that. And then they use the they use the settings in their ESC in order to boost the motor, which is allowed in mod. It is not allowed in stock. Stock classes would refer to your 21.5, your 17.5, and your 13.5 classes. You must be in what is called blinky mode. There is a specific setting that you have on your ESC that allows you to run only stock settings, and that will be what is to level the playing field so as to make for equal and closer racing. So for those of you looking to get into the hobby that aren't already involved, stock racing is a good place to start, and normally a higher turn limit would be better in terms of your learning, as it is a slightly slower motor and will give you more time to be able to handle the vehicle and learn as you need to than what a lower turn motor would. As we follow Colin Walter around there, he is taking the line that Matthew Scariota was talking about just a minute ago. You'll see him as he comes through the S's. He takes a little bit of a spin and he drops down the Exalt soapbox over the Hobby Wing double into the Team Factory Tracks Racing bump. And that'll be a race. All right, heat 1 of 3 done there, and that is complete now. I think he is done. No, he's still going on the clock. He's still going on the clock. The clock expired, but his clock is still running. Looks like he's running a little bit lower on his battery. He's not even able to take that double right there right now. We're going to see this line that the gentleman was talking about. Late apex, thus straightening this area out for a nice double onto the start-finish straight away. Nice tight apex there. Colin Walter from Tim Sutherland from Neil Becker. Several did not start in that one, so that was a less attended race. They will need some marshals, some volunteer marshals to come out here and help. I hope we get that nice and quickly so we can continue with the coverage. So I hear Lance McDonald making an announcement that there was a HobbyWing software update, and that if you use the HobbyWing software update, there are new profiles, and that you shouldn't make the mistake of not being in blinky mode. Blinky mode is the stock mode I was referring to a minute ago, with open mode being available for you to select things like turbo, timing, boost, slew, and so on. This will allow you more performance from the motor. The ESC is capable of doing that. If you have a pro level ESC, anyone can buy one. But of course there is no benefit if you are running stock. They are normally heavier and larger, so you would normally want to run a stock style ESC. All right, we did get some volunteer marshals nice and quickly, so we're going to start with our warm-up here. So all of the drivers get checked in, And being the heat and being that this is consequential now in terms of where you will sort for the main, you'll see that many drivers will get here very quickly and check in very quickly and get going in the race. As we see right now, within the first 1 second, all of them have checked in. Yes, X-Tech. I was just talking about that a couple of minutes ago, how the 17.5s, he's mentioning here in the chat, he's saying that the 17.5 is much faster than the brushed mod motors of the 1990s, where we had nickel metal hydride batteries. Lithium certainly was a massive revolution and has helped in terms of the amount of punch and voltage that we can carry with a much reduced weight. And then also with regards to the motors, you've actually seen in the last 7 years we've reduced the number of internal resistance ohmage that you need in the motor, which also increases the performance. Heat number 2 of 3, Team Associated 21.5 Independent 2-wheel drive buggy, brought to you by Team Associated. How is the audio now? Yes, I think what was happening there was just a second ago when I moved the mic away from my face. Sometimes I forget to put it back properly. I do apologize for that. The waffle, Mr. Greg, is taking place on Sunday. It will be done live, so we're going to give everybody a chance to enter. $20 a ticket gets you in. Buy as many tickets as you like, and we will have 10 to 15 prizes. So far, 4 of which are kits, and one of those kits will actually be a Team Associated B7. So if you're looking to get your hands on the new kit that is making its debut here at this large race, then you too can win one of those. Yes, the smoking rat. Thank you very much. You're actually bringing me to a point that I wanted to talk about there. I wanted to talk about those of you that are watching that maybe you're seeing this feed shed for the first time. Maybe you didn't know something like this exists even here in the USA. If you want to get started in RC racing, you certainly want to go down to your local track and see what classes they run. You can get started with a ready to run in most cases. Some places have slash races. The Traxxas Slash is a class that many tracks run. And they normally run them box stock, and what that means is you literally buy the car ready to run from your local hobby shop. You put it out on the track. Well, first you charge your battery, and then you put it out on the track and you race. This can be done for as little as $189.99, because that is how much the 2-wheel drive Slash sells for, and then they go upwards from there. It's quite a daunting task, of course, to enter racing and then go straight into a kit car, but you can do so also with a little bit of help from your local hobby shop. So number 1, check the classes that you're running, and number 2, talk to them about the electronics that you should be running in order to be competitive and also be within the rules. He's pointed out here as well, has the smoking rat, that the lower turn limits, as I was describing earlier, here we can see in the description, Team Associated 21.5. That is referring to the number of turns that the electric motor's winding has around the stator. The more turns that a motor has, the more torque it has, and the lower RPM and overall performance it has, and thus the slower the motor will be. So with that being said, normally a higher turn limit is better for you, and a lower turn limit being faster, and as you get better, you will be able to step up into those classes, giving yourself room for growth, but also not demanding too much from yourself right as you get started in the hobby. 17.5 is the most popular turn limit that we see at most tracks, with these days the motor's performance increasing substantially and the internal resistance of the motors reducing as well, allowing through the rules for the motors to be faster, and thus we are seeing the return of what is 21.5 racing, which we didn't really have much of about 5 to 7 years ago. It has really come out as the motors have become higher in performance and people can enjoy the speed and performance nonetheless and get around the track very well. 12 seconds left here as we follow Derek Elridge around. He's on a 12 lap pace on 5:21. He's just finished there as we go through heat number 2 of 3, and that is race number 8 of 40. That would be really cool, actually. Yes, Mr. Troy Gardner, thank you very much. I'm glad you are enjoying the feed. I would love to go down to Snowbirds. So there are a couple of moving parts in order to make that happen, though. I myself work for A-Main Hobbies as their distribution manager, so I have to get time out of the office to join Mod Live Media in order to come and do the broadcast. So we will see with Mod if they are doing the broadcast, as I am working with and currently affiliated with them in terms of just helping them with their broadcast. Xtech is saying here, Xtech is a viewer out of Sweden, I believe. Sweden he's watching from, and he is referring here to how much fun it would be to have one of the older buggies tuned as much as you like versus one of the stock buggies using just LiPos today. And I can tell you now, the LiPo batteries alone was one of the largest revolutions in RC technology we have seen. The next biggest revolution was when we went from brushed motors to brushless motors, which happened a little bit before that. And then I believe that the next revolution that we're going to see is going to be in terms of ESC technologies. The ESC technologies have gone from 8-bit to 32 bits in the last number of years. And then also we are starting to see AlsaRam RC, for example, that is making ceramic heat sinks. And that is allowing them to squeeze more performance even than before, more than a lot of the other ESC manufacturers out of the ESC, simply by having a amazing heatsink which allows you to push the motor and the ESC harder, thus getting more performance and still staying cool without thermally timing out or turning itself off to protect itself. And then of course we look towards the Teslas, which are on the road these days. They use more solid state batteries and lithium as well, but there is some solid states involved as well. And I believe that that will be the next revolution as we see batteries. But that first needs to become freely available to the public before we see that implemented here in radio control, as well as adopted into the rule sets. Here we go with the final heat of 21.5 independent two-wheel drive buggy, brought to you by Team Associated. .24 to 27 second lap pace is more or less what we're seeing from these 21.5s, a little bit slower than what we see from the 17.5s, which are in the 23 to 24 second pace. And then from the mods, we're seeing anything as low as a 19 second lap time in the four-wheel drives. So I expect as the track grooves in and as the line gets rubbered up, as well as drivers dial their setups in, we may see even faster times. But for right now, that is where we're at. I believe we're following Doug Powell right now. Doug Powell is in that white and red buggy with the white wheels, white wing. Jason Kessinger is one of the racers here on the racetrack right now, and he was in our chat yesterday. So thank you for joining us for the race. That Rye guy is talking about ultra capacitors. So I will say, as a statement from a engineer, one that runs McLaren Racing, Willie Chung, who I've talked to in detail about capacitors and how they help. There is not much help from the capacitor itself in terms of stock. In mod, maybe there is a little bit of help, but the capacitors that these Pro ESCs have on them already, they have several farads. I think there are about 300 farads on them. So with that, or 300 microfarads, excuse me. 300 farads is substantially larger than what they really carry. Some of them have 1 farad, excuse me, I need to make those calculations in my head here. But larger number of farads means that you can very quickly discharge more current that may not already be available through the ESC, and the battery is not able to dump in as quickly. And the capacitors do help with quick discharge in terms of something like drag racing. However, in terms of stock racing and so on, I don't believe it is making very much difference. And as we have seen from the manufacturers and having discussed with them, they would put larger capacitors if they believed so also. And they don't for a reason. It is not cost saving. It's not that much cheaper to save from the super capacitor as what it is to the normal triple capacitor stack that they have.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. The pictures are coming out great. We've got our photo booth going down below. They come in a little stand, which is like a frame. They look very nice. We should get Jason to take some pictures of those to put on the website so we can have the viewers see those. We should get Jason to take some pictures of those as what it looks like so we can have the viewers see what you're doing, because we're talking about it would be nice if they could see that. As we follow around Doug Powell. Doug Powell now with 1 minute and 12 seconds to go. Doug Powell in the white buggy with the red rear, the white wing and the white wheels. He goes over the JConcepts bubble, over the SXT roller, the DRC roller into the ProTech upside and the Phantom downside, around the Proline S's and the Exalt soapbox, the Hobby Wing double, into the shoe and over the Team Associated double and onto the start finish straightaway. 33 seconds remain here as Doug Powell still out in the lead right now. All 5 of these top drivers in Heat 3 of 3 going faster, as we have expected, than the Heat 2 and Heat 3, as that is how they have sorted the seeds. It is possible, of course, that somebody did not seed well and that they are able to go then from the heats and do well in the heats. But we will also have a further sort after qualifier number 2. This is qualifier number 1. We'll have another sort after qualifier number 2. This is the Clash of Champions 2024 from Hoosier RC HobbyPlex in New Albany, Indiana, United States of America. You're joining us here from the Mod Live RC broadcast with JConcepts bringing us the broadcast. You're listening to Shane Mouton from A-Main Hobbies, and I have the pleasure of announcing here for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, Exact RC. I actually missed that revolution. I forgot about that one. That one happened in my lifetime as well. He's talking about the 2.4 revolution in terms of previously we were using crystals which were on specific radio frequencies. So that is why we call this radio controlled racing, although 2.4 gigahertz is still also a radio signal. It works differently now in that the old radios used to work on a frequency like 57 hertz or 58 hertz or 87 hertz or whatever the case may be. And if somebody had a crystal that was similar to yours or close to yours in their radio and your model got closer to them than what they were to you, then they would actually take control of the car. That is not possible these days. as we use 2.4 gigahertz, which is similar to a Wi-Fi radio signal, and there is a handshake that is made for the receiver to bind to the transmitter being your radio that you hold in your hand, and that bind is made much like you go onto a Wi-Fi network. It needs a key essentially to bind, so no one else is able to take control of that, no matter how close they get to your model, and despite the fact we're all on the same frequency. As we get ready here for the Exalt 13.5 Stadium Track heat number 1 of 3. Hellseeker, yes, Spencer is up here. Spencer Rivkin is here. So Spencer Rivkin is running in several classes. He's running in the mod 4-wheel drive, mod 2-wheel drive, and also mod truck. So he's competing for that Clash of Champions mod title. Being defended by Dakota Fend right now. The big unfortunate news in seeding heat was Dakota Fend was not able to make the start, so he has come down as last seed. There was only 2 of the heats in 4-wheel drive mod buggy. He was not able to make the heat there. In 2-wheel drive he did very well, and in truck he was able to perform. But in 4-wheel, he was not able to make the start for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. I didn't get an update on that yet. Yes, the Racer 53X. Yes, thank you very much. Yourself and X-Tech 101 pointing out there the 2.4 gigahertz, which I had forgotten about. And I did not give you credit to that, although you had mentioned that previously as well. Oh, was it a broken hinge pin? Thank you very much for the update. How did he break the hinge pin before he started the race? Got you. So coming out of the team associated double just before you go onto the start finish straight away. We'll see that in just a second as we follow this car around right in that area there. It looks like he came out and he must have clipped the pipe right where it was anchored to the ground with one of the stakes. And unfortunately his A-arm broke off from the hinge pin and he was not able to compete in that heat. We are now in heat number 10 of 40. After this we will be a quarter of the way through. This is the 13.5 Stadium Truck heat number 1 of 3, brought to you by Exalt. A lot of buggies on a little bit of real estate right now. These guys are going heads up racing, so it's going to get exciting here. A little bit of a winging there, a little bit of a bumper. So FMAR qualifying, for those of you watching at home, if you're wondering why I'm not getting absolutely enthralled and excited by the fact that these cars are close to one another and maybe swapping positions, that is because they may or may not be racing one another exactly for position on track. You'll see a lot more excitement from me on Sunday as we do the mains, as every inch will count and it will be a lot more easy to see, as well as commentate and follow as a viewer, to see who is in the lead and who is doing better than others, as you will literally see them making passes on track. Right now, for example, Greg Nicholas and Dan Hoskins are on completely different parts of the track, and they are number 1 and 2. And Brody Thuran was right behind. He's actually right in front of Daxton Hoxton's. How I'm able to see that is the line that is under the driver's name. It is basically going to grow from the beginning of the lap, where there is no line, to the end of the lap, where it starts to go yellow and red if they are going slower than their previous laps. So basically the calculated and expected pace that they see from these drivers. As we follow Greg Nicholas now, he is about halfway through his lap. So you'll see that green line growing under his name as he goes over the Hobby Wing triple and into the shoe and over the team associated double. That green line is now about to become yellow as he gets to the end of his lap, and he goes through for his 8th lap. So Daxton Hodgkins, that's how our cameraman is able to find all of these drivers very quickly. He's able to look at that green line and see where they are on the track, and then he can follow them around for us. Daxton Hoxton's now to the front there. As we mentioned his name, he is in that white buggy with the red rear and white wheels. And as I say that, Greg Nicholas back to the front, but will continue to follow with Daxton just a little bit. Daxton looking like he's taking some pretty nice lines, and the car looking like it is staying to the ground very well. Some of the drivers struggling here with the traction today in order to stay on all fours, so that is looking very good. And as we do stay with him for once, we don't get the commentator's curse. We're actually following him, and he is not bobbling, and he's gone back to the top of the timing and scoring. So right now, those two drivers, now we are starting to battle for position, and now it's going to get exciting as we have those drivers 1, 2, and 3. That's Daxton Hodgkins, Greg Nicholas, and Chris Finnair. They're on track together now. I can see that all of their lines are going red together. Daxton Hodgkins is now the third in there. Greg Nicholas has fallen back just a little bit. He may be just ahead. Chris Finnair also has just gone over the line. So those three drivers, as you see them right there on the left-hand side of the track, are your 1, 2, and 3 in different order. The number 1 is in the 3rd spot. The number 2 is in the 1 spot. And the number 3 is in the 3 spot. And that is why this can be a little bit confusing to watch sometimes in terms of IFMAR qualifying. And we don't commentate much on a move being made, as we mentioned a little bit earlier in the feed, when some were pointing out that they are not passing for position. Eric Zimmerman says he started racing with a Traxxas LS2 in 1992 and moved up to the SRT rather than and then up to a Losi XXT. So he's done exactly what we were talking about in terms of going down to his local hobby shop there and finding himself a ready-to-run. A ready-to-run is something that you do not need to build. It comes right out of the box and it is ready to run. It normally has a transmitter, and the only thing you need to buy is a battery and a transponder in order to get racing. So go down to your local hobby shop and talk to them about what classes they have and what they recommend that you get started with. Sometimes it can be as little as $200 can get you in and out the door and racing with just a battery charge. And you can walk in with nothing today, buy it, and charge the battery and be racing in literally 10 to 15 minutes. Ghost Images, thank you very much for your question there. Ghost Images, I'm going to be covering as much as possible in true racing style, trying to get as many people into racing and answering questions and trying to keep it as simple as possible. So he's asked here, is it based on the lap quantity, not speed? I'm confused. Yes. So now we have left seeding. Seeding was where we were taking their top 3 consecutive laps. So 3 laps back to back to back. Their fastest 3 laps back to back to back seeded them for their heats. Now as we go into their heats, which are these qualifiers, they are being run on their overall consistency over the 5-minute period. So when you see the time come up, I'll wait for the timing and scoring to start, and I'll read out some of the numbers that we are looking at, and you'll see what I'm referring to there. But now every single lap counts. It is not the one fastest lap, it is not the fastest driver on the track, but the most consistent driver. It is called IFMAR qualifying style, and what that means is that your entire lap clock is going to count. So we're going to get checked in, we're going to start getting some laps, and I will read that as it goes on, Ghost Images, so you can see what I'm talking about. When I'm referring to like a 13 lap pace, then you will see that that driver is doing 13 laps in 5 minutes and 26 seconds, for example. And what that means is that he's expected to do that number of laps. And if you're doing more laps than the others in that time, you are the faster driver, and thus you will qualify higher for the main. The mains are going to be where you sort in from the qualifiers. So your time here, your fastest times, you will, out of your 3 heats, they will take 2 of your times and 1 will be a throw out. That combined time between the 2 heats will give you your qualifying position for the race. So as Zach Gastelum goes over, he's on a 14 lap pace in 5 minutes and 22 seconds. How is he going to race for 5 minutes and 22 seconds when the clock says 5 minutes? Well, his lap pace, it means he's just going to sneak by his 14th lap. He's just going to get started as the clock will expire on his current pace. If he keeps doing 23-second lap times, he just did another 23.2, did Zach Gastelum. So he's on a 13 lap pace at 5 flats. So If he goes a little bit faster, he'll be able to make it past the line before that 5 minutes expires, and he'll be able to go back to a 14-lap pace. And that is what is giving you your qualifying speed here for this particular race. 99.9% of racetracks out there will use FMAR qualifying. So the reason why we're not really commentating much on when somebody makes a pass is because, as we mentioned, each is on a different part of the track. As you look at the left-hand side of the screen there, you'll see those lines, those snakes that grow as they go through the lap. Excuse me. So we continue to follow Zach Gastelum. Zach Gastelum is that white stadium truck with the, yellow stadium truck with the white rear and white wheels. You'll probably notice this driver will probably try to get out of his way. There we go, because he knows he is not faster than Zach Gastelum. And it looks like the driver right behind now, Scott Walker, I can tell just went over the line as well, right behind Gastelum. So he is that pink buggy that is coming up behind Gastelum. We may have a battle for position soon enough. As we go into Sunday, you'll start to see a lot more excitement from me when cars get closer together, because then the battle will be for position, whereas here it is not always. So right now, Zach Gastelum is the only one on a 13-lap pace. He will do 13 laps in 5 minutes and 3 seconds, and Scott Walker is expected to do 12 laps in 5 minutes and 3 seconds. So of course, a lap slower in the same time means that Zach Gastelum is faster. This will give him a higher qualifying rank, and thus will put him higher into what we will call the mains. The mains will be sorted by letter. The A main is the fastest 10 drivers on the track. The B main is normally the next fastest 10 drivers on the track, and they have an opportunity to make it to the A main by winning or coming second in their race, which will allow them to start in the 11 and 12 spots on the grid for the A main. It's rare that you see somebody come from a C or a D or an E main, of course being the slower drivers, and when you come first or second you get something called a bump spot. That bump spot will allow you up into the next main, but of course you will start last. So it is rare that we see somebody bump from a C main to a B main and then up to an A main, but it can be done. I hear some cheering for Zach here in the chat and saying he is a good addition to the Schumacher team. So welcome to the Schumacher team, Zach Gastelum. 1 minute and 11 seconds to go here. He certainly is the fastest on track right now, with Preston Janes now in the 2 and Judd Robson coming up to the 3, Mike Hess in the 4, Scott Walker in the 5, Mike Fayers in the 6, Brian Ritchie in the 7, Ross Tate in the 8. 9 is Jeffrey Miller, Seth Clark in the 10, and Marcel Grambel bringing up the rear. 1 minute left in this one. Fastest driver for hot lap and overall consistency is still Zach Gastelum. We continue to follow him around. Fastest in this heat, and right now the previous heat was able to go faster than some of the other drivers here. Zach Gastelum working well through the traffic there. A lot of skill and a little bit of luck will get you a long way, and so will patience. Patience sometimes, where the other drivers, as you can see, they will notice that the driver is behind them. Had he tried to force the issue in the first corner, he would have rolled the both of them out. So instead he will wait and see that the other driver will notice that he is the one ahead, and if not, he is the faster driver anyway. He should find a way around. But most of the time, as we did there, that was not a driver blowing the corner there, the driver that gave him that spot. They realized that he is the leader and that he has come fast up on their bumper, so they're going to let him by. Great race from Gastelum there, coming home with 13 laps in 5:03. Load. He is asking what is my favorite class to run. I very much enjoy the four-wheel drive class. You'll see that the two-wheel drive class is a very popular one. I don't really understand why two-wheel drive is as popular in comparison to four-wheel drive as what it is. We'll normally see, 5, 6, 7 heats of two-wheel drive buggy, whereas we might only see 1 or 2 heats of four-wheel drive buggy. Four-wheel drive buggy is my favorite to run simply because it's slightly faster. The motor turn limit is lower than that of a 17.5, so I enjoy the performance. And also the car is, you can drive it in a much more aggressive manner when you have four-wheel drive in comparison to two-wheel drive. The two-wheel drive requires patience and a lot of skill. I guess that is why two-wheel drive is the glory and so many enjoy racing two-wheel drive. Stadium trucks, as we're about to go to next, are also two-wheel drive, so they're very similar to the buggy and is often a second class that people like to run next to the two-wheel drive buggy. In this particular race, it is actually the third most popular, with four-wheel drive being the second most popular. I will be right back. Sorry for taking a break. I just need to go have a comfort break. We'll be right back.
Howdy guys, sorry about that. Man, we got Sammy, Moran, Talon, Ethan, Doug, and Nathan all on new TQ times right now. We're following along with Sammy. Hopefully guys are enjoying the race, and I've been down there printing out photos for guys, kind of giving them out and just seeing how people like it. Sammy ran in that One Up Racing mod sponsored rig. He's got that mod puck system in there for the truck on the gas and hauling down that straightaway here for Moran. Talon Henley going to be in that P2 right now. He's looking good for that overall series. Sammy, though, just on terror right now. 2:40 left to go. Heat 3 of 3. This guy, too quick here for Moran. Down that straightaway he goes. Ooh, getting a little bit wrong there for Moran. He was only 0.2 up on Doug, so that might have changed it. Doug Leverrier going to go to that P1. So Doug going to that P1 right now, so that's going to hurt Moran. On a 12.2 now. Can Moran back it up in the next 150 to go in that all red truck here for Doug. Doug up and over the double. Talon Henley going to that P2. Sammy Moran in the 3. Ooh, man. These guys are slicing and dicing in stadium truck. Thank you all for tuning in. 125 to go. 125 to go here for Dougie. Getting out of his way right there. Lap traffic. Doug down the straightaway. Sammy Moran drops down again. Team is getting a little bit off there as Doug is pushing it. 1 minute left to go. Talon Henley is on a 5:14, so 4 seconds back. So Doug, league of his own right now, heading down that straightaway. Looking good here for Dougie. My man, looking good. Drop it down on that JCon rubber team associated T6.4. A little bit of a snap hook. Looks like Doug's gonna snag this one as time expires. Look at Doug. Oh, man, grabbing that one. Nate Sutherland to the P2 out of nowhere. And then Talon Henley in that 3. Let's get an interview with Doug. Doug grabbing that one, man. Dude, it's so close between you, about top 4 or 5. One little mistake is going to cost you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard out there. The grip's the highest it's ever been here, and you're moving so fast, it's pretty hard. I mean, it's definitely caught me out in 2-wheel and 4-wheel, so we made some wholesale changes, and we're looking to improve.
It's all about the slash enduro, man. Getting that traction down with those plastic tires. Good job out there with the team associated rig on JCon rubber. I think Team Power's on there. You got a bunch of sponsors. Congratulations on the win, starting out 2024 with one underneath your belt.
Thank you.
You got it, buddy. All right, guys, we're back on it again. Doug going fast there. And these guys about to get going. This is your modified heat of Stadium Truck. Vaughn Haynes, Mr. Mod has dragon energy. I'll say it. Dude works. Thank you, my good sir. I like to sleep for a couple days after these type of events. At least one day. I give myself one day. But we're kind of running event after event after event, so it's pretty nuts. As Cole Tollard takes this one over. Cole, Mr. CFT. The dude right there. Love that guy. Oh, Davey Botta taking this one over. That's the homie. Davey's staying with us. Help mentor him a little bit through his stock days. Now in a league of his own. Davey Botta out from Coyote Hobbies RC Raceway in Victorville, California. I know his mom and dad are probably watching back home. Probably all on the TVs right now. Davey had a stellar run at the INS Finals of 2023. Won that four-wheel drive class in the A1, A2 event against some of the best in the world. And Davey Botta said, he's staying with us. He said, dude, I ran my truck once, and he's like, it was good. I put it away. So right now, that T6.4 looking absolutely dialed out there on JCon rubber. You see he's coming around. Dropping down up over that triple here for Botta. Botta down that straightaway. Looking savvy here for Botta on that 14.502. We still have 3 minutes left to go. 3 minutes to go. We're going to have Dakota Fenn going to be in that P2. Aiden Horn, Cole Tollard, and Champlin. Ooh, getting a little bit wrong there for Botta. And he just jumped that thing nose high. We're going to go to an instant replay coming your way. Instant replay here. You can see Botta come up and he's just skying that thing. Just like, please make it. I've heard that triple is pretty difficult. Oh, Shane's back, man. He's been like the candy man out there. He's been handing out t-shirts. I've been handing out photos.
Yeah, I had some other stuff I had to take care of real quick as well. So thank you very much for
Dakota Fenn taking this one over in the TLR. That truck doesn't even exist anymore, bruh. And he's on par with it, showing that these guys are still competitive. Dakota Fenn, the phenom, as they call him, down that straightaway. I'm sure mom and dad are watching back home, and his wife, Chloe, and I believe they have fur children. Through the double there for Fenn as he's coming around. He is your current and reigning class champion from last year. He did the best in all three classes down that straightaway. I think it was pretty untouchable last year. Just
he was
on terror mode. It was a race for second for Fenn, but this year they're kind of all over him as we have Botta and Tollard within 1 second of him right now. Coming around, taking the wide line there for Fenn. Car looks pretty smooth and consistent. Hear that special tone as he goes by. So we have 1 minute and 15 to go. Let's try and get with Cole Tollard. I think he's on the right-hand side of the track down the... no, that's not him. Where is Tollard? On the top right, coming down at the pink in the back. So we're going to follow around with Tollard. He's going to be in that P2 right now. We were following along with him earlier in the race. That's Tollard in the 2. Botta still handily in that third place position, holding strong. With 50 seconds left to go, we got Fenn, Tollard, Botta, Horn, Sontag, Rivkin, Champlin, Cavallari, Rennerneck, Evans, Gavin, Mason, and Riley. Down that straightaway as they stuff 13 guys onto this driver's stand. They're like, we don't want 6 and 7 guys on here. Doesn't make no sense. Ain't got no gas in it. Shane likes that saying. Ain't got no gas in it. That's from the Zachary Rogers. That and the Glizzy Dogs. Those are his favorite sayings. Oh, a little bit of a chassis slap right there for Fenn as Botta takes over that P2 again. We're following along with Fenn. I didn't see our camera guy switch over. I looked back at him, I'm like, oh, that's Dakota. Ooh, almost saving his run right there for Dakota. Oh, they're losing the ability to make that trip. And I'm hearing that's a hard one. We got Dakota Fenn gonna snag it. Good job, my man.
I get second or third.
Big second. Oh, I don't know. Where'd he go? Hey, Dakota. Good run out there, man. Grabbing that one. It's pretty close out on this track. It's coming down to those very, very small mistakes.
Yeah, there's a ton of grip out there. I think everyone's, like I said, pretty close speed-wise. We can only go so fast around there. Truck was working good. It was really easy to drive and kind of just took it easy in the beginning. Stayed in the hunt, didn't make any mistakes, and kind of just held on over there. For whatever reason, everyone's struggling on that trip one truck to get over it. So I kind of just took a little bit of extra time, made sure I had it lined up, and got over it.
Right on. Some inquiring minds want to know what happened in four-wheel drive.
Just broke a pin, a CV pin in the center. So, yeah, it sucks. We'll try to get out there, get a clean seating round, and stay away from the mistakes and carnage. And hopefully we can move up to the A heat. I don't think they're doing a resort after round one, unfortunately. So we'll be in there for round one, in round two, and just make the best of it.
Your current Clash returning champion right now. Any differences from last year till this year?
Yeah, probably a pretty similar base. Running a little bit different of a shock setup now that we've been working on, but for the most part, cars are pretty similar, and I just kind of testing and tuning for the track.
Congratulations. Best of luck.
Cool, thank you.
You got it. Back to you, Shane.
All right, took that little break there with Matt doing that just to get some food in myself as well. And we are back. Hit number 14 of 40, Team Associated, 17.5, independent two-wheel drive buggy, heat 1 of 4.
All right, I'll transfer you. You good, Shane, or you need to eat anymore? You're dialed. You're in like Flynn. All right, I think I got to go pick up Megan.
You're good.
All right, see ya.
All right. Another one of Eddie Henley's sons in this one of his younger sons, Alton Henley. Another one of the guys that helps here at the track, Bobby Latrino and Mike Hess as well. You might see my name pop up over here pretty soon. Might be in this heat. Should be, or maybe I've been removed because they realize that I'm not in the race as the clock goes live. Alrighty. So, local hero Bob Latrino right now out in the lead, currently with just one lap on the board. That's the young gun Alton Henley racing there as well, just coming across the stripe just a second ago. Mr. Chris, you can have a little break as we carry on this one. We have accidentally left it on the wrong camera feed. I don't know how to change it, so just take a little bit of a breather. Since you'd be... Oh, there we go. We're going to change over. Okay, no worries. I was going to say, otherwise you are filming fresh air and you may as well have a break. He's changed it over now. We are back. We're back with our camera. We are good to go. This is heat number 1 of 4, race number 14 of 40 in qualifier 1. There will be a resort after qualifier number 2. That means that those faster drivers, should they be able to put faster times on the board in 1 and 2, they will be able to sort to a faster heat for themselves for qualifier number 3. I believe that is our leader right now that we are following, the white buggy with the red back and the white wheels, white wing. That is Doug Powell. I think Doug Powell, I think they were referring to as Fat Ninja. Let me know in the chat. Ghost images? No, not all of the team associators that we see are B7s. The B7s are specifically the two-wheel drive buggies. So the last race that we saw, those were stadium trucks, and those will in fact be based off of a previous derivative of a B6.4. I think that is the B6.2 ST stadium truck. So with that being said, the B7 is specifically referring to the two-wheel drive platform. Two-wheel drive is the glory, and it is the most popular platform, as I mentioned. And with that being said, it is the first car that Team Associated decided to refresh in their lineup of cars. They've recently refreshed the four-wheel drive. They had a B7 4.2. So the B7 4, which is the four-wheel drive, 0.2 is already on its second reiteration. And that is the current car. And the stadium truck, I speak under correction, but I believe that is the ST 6.2. Let me double check that for you. In fact, they have come up in those reiterations. I have not watched that truck for a little while, but they have now recently brought out the RC10T 6.4, which is the truck 6.4. That is the stadium truck. Previously was the T 6.2 before that. So I guess they have skipped a reiteration to put it in line with what was their B6.4, so that the generations of buggies and the names and lines would line up. We follow now Mike Hess. Mike Hess is that blue buggy with the purple rear and white wheels. Local hero as he comes up onto the start-finish straightaway, over the JConcepts roller, into the SXT double, into the DRC roller, over the ProTech tabletop, down the Phantom downside, into the Proline S's, Exalt soapbox, Hobby Wing triple, and into the shoe. A little bit of a rollover there for Mike Hess as he goes over the Team Associated double. Let's have a look at that pace right now. His fast lap is a 23.9 and his pace is 12 laps in 5:05. So that is 5 minutes and 5 seconds. He's expected to finish 12 laps in. The driver just behind him, Bobby Latrino, also a local hero, is 4 seconds back of that as you read that clock. So he has 4 seconds to make up on the track. And he will be able to usurp Mike Hess, but he will run out of time before that happens, and we cross the line for Mike Hess, and he is done. That's Mike Hess, I believe, coming off the stage there. And that's Fat Ninja right there. I believe that is, that's the gentleman I was just mentioning just a second ago. That is Doug Powell that you saw there, the gentleman that was in the grey shirt standing close to the camera. That is Bobby Latrino showing that his hands were shaking. And that is Alton Henley, the youngest son of Eddie Henley, coming off the driver's stand, that young man there. Yes, Ghost Rider, that is in fact what they are running here. The newly teased B7 buggy has been released and will be available soon from your local hobby shop as well as from amainhobbies.com for all your RC needs. www.amainhobbies.com. The B7 was released and has been designed and is already being manufactured, and all of them are being sent out from Amain as well as from Team Associated and other distributors to your local hobby shop, and is available online should you not have access from your local hobby shop to the B7. Also, if you would like to win one of those B7s, we will be giving one of those away in the waffle on Sunday. So you can put a ticket in and you can buy each one of those tickets for $20. You can buy as many as what you like, and the B7 kit will be one of the kits that we will be giving away. Peter, I'm not 100% sure on how many B7s are here today, but I can confirm that at least 2 of the drivers that I've seen their vehicles and taken photographs of, being Spencer Rivkin and Davey Barter. You see those cars on track, I can confirm that they are B7s. I believe Brent Thilke, being the team manager for Team Associated, I believe he's going to have a B7, as will many of the team drivers here, although the public has not received or had access yet to the B7. They will have within the next week or 2. Thank you, Nils B, for filling us in there. I haven't been following the SC as well as the T series as much as what I do for the buggies. The buggies for me are the more exciting platform to race, being the smaller, lighter, more nimble and agile performing platforms in comparison to the truck and the short course truck. The short course truck, also abbreviated to SCT, short course truck, and then the stadium truck, they abbreviate down to T, which is just truck, referring to truck. Absolutely agree with you, Ghost Images. Very, very, very good marketing. Team Associated is a master of marketing. And as you can see over here, they continue to market not only through being a title sponsor. Thank you very much for being a gold level sponsor, along with ProTech as well as SXT. But also they've sponsored a class. And as you can see over here, the 17.5 independent two-wheel drive buggy. Heat 2 of 4 sponsored by Team Associated. And they also have a jump on the track. They just went over the Team Associated double. So definitely marketing masters and very clever themselves to release those teasers earlier this week, knowing that their team drivers would be here today with the B7. Not only are they here with the B7, they are threatening to take the title possibly from Dakota Fend. It's his to lose right now. Dakota is looking good, and he is making a good statement, a good case to maintain his crown. But that B7 in the hands of Spencer Rivkin and Davey Barter is looking like a weapon of choice also. Aiden Horn is also running the B7, yes, as are many of the team drivers. The team drivers being one of the first ones, of course, to receive the cars, build the cars, give feedback on the manual, if there's any problems, if any parts are missing, if anything doesn't fit. So there is an internal feedback before the buggy goes live to the public to ensure that each one of us can enjoy our build and our car and the engineering that you get from that manufacturer as much as possible when we finally do receive our cars, probably about a week after the team drivers will be revealing their cars here. I expect them to be shipping pretty soon. Right now, Joe Fay from Jordan Beard, from Adam McCowan. That's your 1, 2, and 3. Adam Rabber over Aiden Dorch and Kason Futrell, Billy Womack, and Mac Wilkinson down to Devin Fieger, excuse me. So that is our leader there now coming around. I believe that is the white and purple buggy with the blue wheels and clear wing into the Proline S's and down the Exalt soapbox. As he goes over the Hobby Wing triple and over the Team Associated double, he doesn't make it to the double before he clips a pipe. Alton Henley, youngest son of Eddie Henley here, comes out and helps him and marshals him off the pipe. That little bobble there does mean that Adam McCowan does come to the point now, and Avon Dorch is in second. Joe Fay has now fallen down to the 3. I'm going to try to find Adam here. I believe Adam is that yellow buggy with the red rear and white wheels. Clear wing as he comes through the Hobby Wing triple and over the shoe and through the Team Associated double. This being heat 2 of 4 now, you can see on the right hand side again, those drivers in green are from this heat, and they have usurped the previous drivers in terms of speed. So with that being said, as we go on in the heats, we expect to see them go faster and faster, although that is not always a given. So if you have a look at the so A gets all your money. Peter, if you have a look at the title of the class, if I run through that again, as it seems you are, I haven't seen you in the chat yet, so you're newer to our stream here tuning in. The independent classes are drivers that are free of sponsorship or do not have sponsors themselves. The expert drivers, if you have a sponsor, you must race expert or mod class. If you do not have a sponsor, you can also enter those classes if you have the skill to do so. But if you are a non-sponsored driver and you wish to race independent, that is the only way you may do so. Otherwise, if you have sponsors, you must be in the expert class or the mod class. Although not every driver in expert is sponsored and not every driver in mod is sponsored, although many of them are at this particular race and this particular level. But with that being said, if you have the skill, you may step up to expert or to mod as you please. But should you have a sponsor, you may not be in the independent class. All of these drivers here just being privateers themselves. They may have the support or help from some of these sponsored drivers and maybe get help with setup or setup advice or tires or, you know, anything like that. But with regards to the actual sponsorship, no sponsorship whatsoever. There is only 7 B7s, they say here this weekend. I believe there are 7 team drivers. Off the top of my head, I know of at least 3, 4 actually. Aidan Horn will be one of them, new A-main driver. We have Spencer Rivkin, ProTech team driver. We have Davey Barter, Coyote Hobbies driver. And we also have... name slips my mind now, excuse me. So there may be 7 or more. That's a race for this one. Adam Raber from Jordan Beard over Joe Fay. Look at Joe Fay. Look at his profile picture. That is that's quite comical actually. I enjoyed that. He has a blank hoodie over his face. No sponsor, nor does he want his face to be known. Ghost Images, I don't think they chose to bring 7 on purpose, but it just so happens that it lines up with the B7 mantra, just as there are 7 days in the year, 7 days in the week, as well as 7 wonders of the world. There are also B7 and 7 B7s here, so yes, they are playing on that number. They did do that in the marketing as well. Very clever that they did that. Dustin Evans has one. Yep, that is another team driver. If you see one of the team drivers, or if they're racing mod, or if they are sponsored by Team Associated, they likely are team drivers and they will have those cars. There are a large number of sponsored drivers also that are not Team Associated drivers, that are sponsored drivers, but they're still running the B6.4 platform. They're not Team Associated sponsored drivers, so they did not receive the B7 kit yet. They may do so as the kit comes out to the public. Looks like everybody is checked in except for Bob Griffith, so we're just waiting for him right now, but we will get going in just a couple of seconds nonetheless as we go to heat number 3 of 4, sponsored by Team Associated, 17.5 independent 2-wheel drive buggy. Yes, for those of you that are looking exactly who has the Team Associated, myself included, I'm going to go over here. I see the comment from Chris Shepard. He says that they've made a post this weekend as to who has the buggies. So let's go to their page. As I said, Alan Horn and Aidan Horn have one each. There's Brent Thielke, he has one as well. Spencer Rivkin has one. Davey Barter has one. I've had a close look at both of those cars. Seeding is showing stadium track for Sammy Moran, but he's still running the 6.4 platform. And then Doug LeRiviere, I'm not sure if he has one or not. I believe he does. He is a team associated driver, so I believe he does have one. He's the defending Clash champion as well, so it would have been in their interest to give him one. If he doesn't have one, I would be surprised. Although I'm looking back here. Aha, here we go. Okay, so they showed the pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, there's only 7. There's only 7, although they don't say the names. They show the pictures here 1 day ago in the Clash of Champions. As we look here at the team associated 17.5 independent two-wheel drive buggy, heat 3 of 4. Brian Hoskins right now is the one that we are following around. He is the white buggy with yellow and red flame out, white wheels. He comes over the line. That tone that you hear, the extra tone that is not just like a doom, the doom is when a driver comes across. You're not hearing that at this particular racetrack. It's also what starts the timing and clock, but when your leader comes across, you will hear a special tone that we don't often hear. We are hearing the that's your leader right there, the bloop. And then you'll hear all the other cars as they come by just go boom, 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 boom. We'll hear the leader in just a second again. Brian Hoskins now is on lap number 5. You'll hear the tone right now. Didn't happen that time. Wonder if he was too close to another driver and it already made a sound. Thank you very much to RC Garage for bringing us the coverage here today as well, and the live timing on the coverage. JConcepts for the sponsorship of Mod Live Media to bring us the live coverage. There is the tone that I was talking about as Brian Hoskins goes across the line again. Fast lap right now, a 23.7 with Zach James right behind him at 23.9. Fast lap for him. If you look at their lap pace, you'll see Zach James has now gone to the lead, and they are very, very, very close indeed, both on a 13 lap pace at 5:16 delta, the delta being the time in which they will complete that lap pace. I think this is Zach that we're following around now. Zach with the yellow front and white rear and yellow wheels, clear wing. Right now, that previous heat number 2 of 4, has 3 faster drivers. That's Adam Raber, Jordan Beard, and Joe Fay. But let's see if they can hang on to that as we go through the rest of this heat. Looking a little bit rough from the heat 3 of 4 drivers here. From Zach James and Brian Hoskins down, those two are able to usurp the others for the first and second spots. Still following around here with Zach. I wonder if we have Zach, because right now Zach's line is showing as red and has been doing so for some time. Maybe that's just our timing and scoring that's not updating. We'll see now as he goes by. Yeah, that is him indeed. So just timing and scoring was wigging out just a little bit there. The electronic control panel is not always 100% correct, but the transponders will count on the live tracking and scoring for Lance McDonald, our race director. Let's take a minute to thank our sponsors. Gold level sponsors, Team Associated, ProTech RC and SXT. Silver level sponsors, DRC, TDK, Exalt, TLR, Phantom Racing. And then bronze level sponsors, Hobbywing, Motif, One Up Racing, DBR, R1 Works, Vision Racing, Factory Tracks Racing, K&K, Mod Live Media, Boom Graphics, and Proline. All right, as we finish that one out, we will be right back. Alrighty, so we're looking for a check-in here. There seems to be a car stuck that's dead on the end of the straightaway. He's just waiting to get himself going. End of the straightaway is not somewhere you want to be hanging out. You might want to hang out on the outside of the corner or something like that as you go through. That is a good way to get cleaned up and knocked out of a race very quickly. Let me check here. Chris Shepard says that they show the names under each one of the photos. Ah, yes. Okay, thank you. So they're showing it in the comments. So they show Spencer Rivkin, they show Aidan Horn, they show Dustin Evans, they show Davey Barter, they show Bill Hayden, they show Brent Thilke, they show Kurt Wagner, and that is it. Those are the 7 B7s that we will see running. So again, Spencer Rivkin, Aidan Horn, Dustin Evans, Davey Barter, Bill Hayden, Brent Thilke, and Kurt Wagner. Thank you for that help over there with identifying who those drivers are. I knew of 4 of them, but not of the 5th. Excuse me, not of the 5, 6, and 7. As we go to Team Associated 17.5 Independent Buggy Heat number 404, and our cameraman is returning to the stand now, so soon that camera will start moving again. Brian Dorch is currently our leader. I think that is Brian that just went through the start-finish in the green buggy on the left-hand side of the track. So Brian Dorch should be coming through with that green buggy in the middle of the track. I think he's going through the Proline S's and down the Exalt double now. Here he comes. I was incorrect. Brian is actually in the white buggy there. Chris has done better to find him than what I did on timing and scoring. In the white buggy with the white wheels, clear wing coming up on the pink buggy now. That pink buggy looks like it is Adrian Sitwell that lets him by. They go through the shoe over the Team Associated double here in the 17.5 independent two-wheel drive buggy sponsored by Team Associated. We're almost halfway in this particular heat right now, and we're almost halfway in the program as well. Race number 17 of 40, heat number 4 of 4 for this particular discipline and class. Over the JConcepts rollers, we go through the DRC kicker, up onto the ProTech tabletop, down the Phantom downside, Proline S's and Exalt soapbox over the Hobby Wing triple. And onto the Team Associated double, and back down the start finish straight away. Lovely lap there, lap number 7 from Brian Dortch. Looking nice and clean, and looking right now like the top 1, 2 and 3 drivers are going to take the EQP. The EQP is the updated qualifying time essentially. So that will be what we are looking at on the right hand side when I refer to the EQP. Equal qualifying pace, I believe is what it is called. So everyone is running on equal terms. They put all the heats into the computer, and the EQP runs in order to show us the fastest drivers and where they will seed for the mains. Oh, is that our leader? Yes, it is. Our leader takes a little bit of a tumble, and that means right now that Jared Miranda may be able to close up on him. Let's see if we see that lap pace right now. If we see that in just a second. Oh, man, he might be broken. Oh, man, he needs a lot of help now, and that is definitely going to bring Jared Miranda to the front. So let's see, where's Jared Miranda? Brian Dortch is able to bring his buggy back and work again. Maybe it was just a turnbuckle, I'm not sure. But that does drop him way down the timing screen. He's in 8th right now. So we're looking for Anthony Russell. Anthony Russell now, the one that's just gone across timing and scoring, I believe, in that green buggy we were following earlier. Either the green one or that red one with the yellow wheels. I think that is him there, the red one with the yellow wheels, as you go through the Proline S's and down the Exalt. Is it orange? It looks completely red on my screen here. Oh man. They look identical to me on the... Oh, the red one looks pink to me on this. The orange one, yeah. I guess our camera hues and colors here as they come through the broadcast are definitely being modified a little bit, because that first buggy that you see there is actually completely orange like a pumpkin. The next one is red like a Ferrari, and it looks a lot deeper red than that, and that is our leader, Anthony Russell. So, wrapping it up there, Anthony Russell from Jared Miranda from Ryan Fairfelder. Alrighty. Excuse me. Alright, we're getting ready for heat number 1 of 5, which is 17.5 expert two-wheel drive buggy. So some more two-wheel drive buggy here, but some of these drivers either have the skill to be able to step up, or they have sponsors. and they are running an expert class because they must do so if they have sponsors. Getting ready for our warm-up, and all drivers checked in immediately. We should get going here pretty soon and get underway. This is heat number 1 of 5, DRC 17.5 Expert 2-wheel drive buggy, brought to you by DRC. Alright, the loop has just gone live. So that timing and scoring there showing 20 seconds down is not quite 100% accurate, nor are the race snakes. They've taken off a little bit early according to the timing and scoring. We're following right now Jasmine Neer. That's Jasmine Neer in the purple and pink buggy with the yellow wheels. She was the one that had the issue in the four-wheel drive earlier where the spur gear was making the sound and then ended in mechanical failure. So Zach Gastelum, he was one to watch earlier and he was very, very, very fast. I believe that's Zach there with the yellow front and white back buggy with the white wheels and clear wing. He was in the 22-second pace, and he was the only one to do so in the previous race, but now Josh Melia is also making same kind of speed. The consistency, though, that we see from Zach is quite exceptional. Did two 22.5s back-to-back, so it looks like he's able to do those at will. Let's see what he's able to do as he goes through traffic. Ooh, slices through like a hot knife through butter there, even in between two buggies. Jasmine's having none of it. She wants to catch him as well as stay with the leader, trying even to take the spot back, but getting a little bit squirrely as she goes into the braking zone there on the start-finish straightaway. Zach is making this look easy. The track certainly now, I'm hearing from the conditions, is a little bit less grippy than earlier. Some of the glue has gone away from the surface, but if you stay online, you will be able to experience a maintained level of grip in terms of the rubber that has been laid down. DRC stands for Donovan RC, which is Zach Donovan. He is the one that owns a custom lead manufacturing company, and by leads he makes charging leads and all sorts of other adapters and heat shrinks and all sorts of color-coded goodies. You can check him out by googling DRC. Available here at Hoosier RC HobbyPlex. I believe he has his own website as well. That is a good question. I'm not 100% sure on that exact, because those should be very, very, very similar. Average lap and median lap. Median refers to an average. So with that being said, your average and median should be about the same. I'm not sure what they're referring to there, what the difference is. I have not seen that myself. I would like to do an instant replay, although we are short one of our operators right now, Mr. Matt from Matt Olson from Mod Media. He's not here right now. He had to go and pick up another one of our members from the house. We're taking a rotating shift essentially to man some of the cameras, and Chris is mostly on the cameras. Matt is mostly on the controls, and I am 100% of the time on the broadcast. And then we have some others, including Jason down below, which is doing photographs, and we have Megan as well, who's helping us with all sorts of miscellaneous items in and around. So he's going to go and pick up another one of our members. We do not have the ability to do a instant replay right now. Apologies for that. Absolutely, X-Tech 101. I'm trying to keep an eye on the race as well as the chat here. I'm going to be able to chat to you guys a lot more as we go through here Friday heats and Saturday heats. Has a little bit less eyes on, so to speak, but as we go into Sunday, the chat will become a little bit less difficult for me to follow along with, as we will be commentating on the actual heads-up racing, which we will be wanting to watch. Still Zach Gastelum right now in the 1, and in the 2 is Jasmine Neer, not far behind. Jacob Montgomery has just usurped Jasmine Neer for that spot, so that is a very close battle as we wait for the IFMAR timing and scoring to come up on the screen. When it does, you'll see how close they are. There we go, the 13.507 to the 13.508, so only 1 second separates Jasmine Neer now from Jacob Montgomery, so if she makes up 2 seconds on track, he's essentially passed him, although she will not do so physically on track. They're on a different path.